Hello, welcome to the Polis. This is Matt and McKay and Chris. So a quick summary of what we're going to do. We make draft picks, cast lists, tier lists, the whole 9 yards. And so if today we're doing a fan-made draft pick of a movie, hypothetical movie that we would do. So McKay, you want to go first?
Yeah, so with every movie that we kind of do a fan cast, we tend to give a plot synopsis. So I will start things off by giving my plot synopsis. I'm a huge Halo fan. I love Halo. The video game series defined my high school career. And as a result, I read the novels. One of my favorite novels of all time is Halo: The Fall of Reach. There is an animated adaptation of Halo: Fall of Reach. However, there has never been a live action adaptation of that movie. And let's be frank, the Halo, the TV show from Paramount, is not that good. So why not make a movie based on the novel Fall of Reach and make it good? So the way I would do this movie would be like what happens in the book. You would have the flashback sequences to the origin story of the Master Chief, as well as I want to see some Covenant dialogue leading up to the Fall of Reach. So for that, I will kick things off by now handing it to Matt to tell his plot synopsis.
All right. First off, I apologize for the background noise. That's my dog behind me. Second of all, so my movie is a third installment of the Top Gun franchise. And I chose this because I've always been drawn to piloting aircrafts ever since I saw Anakin, oddly enough, in Revenge of the Sith and Clone Wars before that. And so things like that have always kind of stuck out to me. Um, but I've noticed in Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, there hasn't been a real villain in it. It's kind of just been enemy country wherever it's been. And so for my installment, that's what I want to change for mine. So yeah, so further ado, BK, you have your first pick.
Okay, so with the first round of this draft, I'm going to cast the legendary Master Chief himself. I am going to keep the same actor that plays Master Chief as the TV show. He's a great actor and he has the physicality to bring to the role. I am casting Pablo Schreiber as the Master Chief.
Nice. So you obviously can't have a Top Gun movie without Maverick himself. So my first round pick is Tom Cruise.
So my second round pick, I am deciding to cast the Spartan of Master Chief's Spartan Fire Team Blue Team. This Spartan is Linda 058, and for Linda, I am casting Kate Kennedy.
Nice. My second round pick is a recurring character from Top Gun Maverick, and that is Miles Teller as Rooster.
For my third round pick, Blue Team has four Spartans, so I am selecting Blue 3 in this. He is the only commissioned officer on Blue Team. This is the legendary Spartan Fred 104. For Fred, I will cast Daniel D. Kim.
Nice. My third round pick is the protagonist for this movie, or sorry, antagonist for this movie, and it is James Iron Man Smith, played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
My fourth round pick. This is the last Spartan of Blue Team that I need to cast. She is known as the Rabbit for Blue Team. This Spartan is Kelly 087, and I will cast Daisy Ridley to play Kelly.
That's a solid pick. My fourth round pick is one of the Top Gun graduates and call sign Steel, and it's going to be played by Ray Fisher.
My fifth round pick. It is not Halo without the legendary AI Cortana. And to keep things with tradition, I am casting Jen Taylor to play Cortana.
My fifth round pick, fighter pilot by the name of, or call sign Thorn, played by Jessica Henwick.
My sixth round pick, she is the creator of the Spartan 2 program in Halo. She may be a war criminal, she may not be a war criminal. That is up for you to decide. For this, I am casting Dr. Catherine Halsey as Gillian Anderson.
Nice. To finish off my fighter squadron, I have Joel Kinnaman playing Riptide.
For all you mother lovers out there, this one is a classic Halo character. He knows what the ladies like. For my seventh round draft pick, I am casting Will Smith to play Sergeant Johnson.
Respect. Sorry, we're on the seventh round, right?
Correct.
All right. My seventh round pick is Captain Jill Dobbin, played by Margot Robbie.
My eighth round pick. This is the legendary naval captain that led the UNSC Pillar of Autumn during the events of Halo Combat Evolved. He is known throughout Halo lore as a brilliant military tactician and strategist. This is the legendary naval captain, Captain Jacob Keyes. I am casting Jacob Keyes to be played by Matthew McConaughey.
Nice. My next round pick, Lieutenant Fox, played by Keanu Reeves.
With number nine, I have to introduce one of my villains. And one of my villains is one of the elites in Halo. So this will be a voice acting role for Thel 'Vadam, aka the Arbiter, and he will be played by his voice actor from the video games, Keith David.
Nice. My ninth round pick, Admiral Frost, played by Cynthia Dye Robinson.
And it isn't Halo without the evil Covenant. And what makes the Covenant? Their leadership. For this, I am casting the Covenant's holy leader, the Prophet of Truth, to be played by Daniel Craig.
My 10th round pick, it was originally someone else, but I decided to change it for this pick. So it is Admiral Lucius Fox, played by Ron Perlman.
Wow, you have a top tier cast. I give you bad props on that.
That's, that's a quite stacked cast. That there's really, yeah,
Both casts are stacked.
yeah, they're pretty cool. I admit I'm not that knowledgeable about Halo, but yeah, I'd definitely go see a movie with this cast.
And there's a reason I chose this cast. So I want to kind of talk about a little bit about why I chose Pablo Schreiber to play Master Chief. He did a really good job playing Master Chief in the TV series. However, the writing of the TV series on Paramount Plus was horrible. It was very poorly written. It had nothing that was remotely Halo about the writing, except that it had the Master Chief, it had the UNSC at the Covenant, and a potential Halo ring. Other than that, it was really just a generic sci-fi franchise. Pablo Schreiber, he brought the physicality to the role when playing the TV series, when he was playing Master Chief on the TV series. That's why I still cast him as a Master Chief. Being a Spartan 2, Spartan 2s are super soldiers. They're genetically augmented. You need someone with that physicality. My next role was Linda 058, the sniper of Blue Team. Kate Kennedy She's also in the Halo TV show playing the sniper. She is physically demanding, and has the physicality and the height to play Linda. And she looked really good in that sniper role. Give her Linda's armor from Halo, The Fall of Reach, the animated series. It would be a lot better, write her character better. I think she would do a remarkable job in that role. Fred 104, Daniel D. Kim. I like this. Fred, to me, always seemed to be a martial artist. And that is also seen in the novels with Fred and how his character is portrayed in the novels. So why not have him played by a well-deserving Asian actor and martial artist with Daniel D. Kim? Kelly 087. Kelly is of British ancestry in Halo lore. I really think if you can get, this is where the star power really comes to play in this movie. That is why I would cast Daisy Ridley to play Kelly. I think her mannerisms match that of Kelly in the Fall of Reach animated movie. So I think by doing that, it's just a natural fit for Daisy to play Kelly. Cortana, you've got to have Cortana's voice actress play Cortana. That is just tradition, right? Jen Taylor has done a remarkable job playing Cortana. I say let her have the role that she's born for. Dr. Halsey. There were so many different actresses I could play Dr. Halsey, but I wanted someone with kind of that, who has played that scientist background, with a kind of a medical background. And I chose Gillian Anderson because I think she fits that role beautifully. From her time on the X-Files, she's familiar with a lot of the jargon, because when she was playing Scully in the X-Files, Scully was a medical doctor. So Gillian had to have learned a lot of that technical kind of knowledge to get prepared for that role. And she just has that personality where she can keep a secret, or she's willing to go outside the bounds of what is ethical. So for that, I cast Gillian Anderson. Sergeant Johnson, I was actually torn on this one. On one hand, I was going to cast a comedian, Eddie Murphy. That was my original pick to play Sergeant Johnson. And Sergeant Johnson is this brash Marine gunnery sergeant that you know and love for Halo. One of his classic lines, "I know what the ladies like." That's an Eddie Murphy line. But I could also see Will Smith doing that line beautifully. Eddie Murphy does want to get into some more serious roles as he's getting up there in years, but I think Will Smith fits this perfectly. Both of them fit the role perfectly, but let's go with Will Smith since he's more of an action star. Captain Keyes as Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey as Captain Keyes makes really good sense. McConaughey has been known for these leadership type of roles to be cast. He's known for kind of the strategic or scientist roles because he was in several movies that had similar roles, like Interstellar, things like that. I think Matthew McConaughey would be a really good addition to this cast. Thel 'Vadam, the Arbiter from Halo, being played by Keith David. I think that his voice is just too perfect for him not to play the Arbiter in this case. And it brings a lot of that Halo cast back to the forefront of this, because having an actor like him, he can tell you, would the Arbiter do this? Would the Arbiter not do this? Would his character do this when the Arbiter was in the Covenant? The Prophet of Truth being cast as Daniel Craig. This one makes sense because I think this gives Daniel Craig a little bit more of a voice role. And it gives him a chance to kind of be that religious zealot character. His personality fits that really, really well. Another voice actor I was considering for the role would have been Mark Hamill. but I don't feel like Mark Hamill could have done the role. He's done a Halo. He's done voice acting for Halo when the Hunt the Truth series podcast came out, and which was a lot of the backstory that predated Halo 5 Guardians. And he played a religious zealot type. But I think maybe instead of Mark Hamill, let's bring a different actor in. And I like Daniel Craig because Daniel Craig could bring some darkness to that role. A little bit, make it a little bit more foreboding of a character. Especially for when those scenes between when you do the sequence of like what led up to the Covenant invading Reach in the first place. I think Daniel Craig brings a lot to that role.
Yeah, it's been a while since since I last saw Daniel Craig in a voice acting role. I think I've only seen one film where he did voice acting, and that was he did the mocap too. That was The Adventures of Tintin back in 2011.
And I think he could do the motion capture for The Prophet of Truth as well.
Yeah.
And I would like to do the motion capture for Keith David as the Arbiter in this as well.
Yeah.
And in Cortana, Jen Taylor, you could do the motion capture with her. I kind of might do it differently. Cortana is supposed to have the physical appearance of Dr. Halsey. So I might have to have Gillian Anderson play both roles. She does the motion capture for Cortana, but as Jen Taylor's voice for Cortana. So I think that might be a better way to do it. If not, I could do Jen Taylor for Dr. Halsey as well, because in Halo, Jen Taylor plays both Dr. Halsey and Cortana. So Matt, tell us why you casted your cast.
Well, it's Tom Cruise, so that's no explanation needed.
Right there, explanation.
Miles Teller really stepped up in Top Gun Maverick. I was really impressed with his performance. So that's why I wanted him to be a recurring character to kind of help lead that mission for it. For actors like I'll just have my list here beside me. Like Ray Fisher, Joel Kinnaman. I feel like they're actors who deserve way more screen time than they're credited for. I'm a really big fan of Jessica Henwick. Uh, Watching her in Knives Out and Iron Fist, she did a phenomenal job in that. Keanu Reeves is just Keanu Reeves. Enough said.
Enough said there.
Uh, I chose Leonardo DiCaprio and Margot Robbie as one of my cast picks because I feel like, well, Leonardo DiCaprio, watching him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that movie, like his performance, that just was outstanding. I really like that. Uh, Margot Robbie herself is just a very talented actress. Having watched her in like Focus, Suicide Squad, she was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
And The Wolf of Wall Street.
That's right, Wolf of Wall Street, yeah. And I, Tonya too. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's really good. Uh, but I would like to see her in a more serious role. So I think that'd be really good to see. Cynthia Dye Robinson. I don't think I've seen her since Arrow, but she did a phenomenal Amanda Waller.
She did an amazing job in Spartacus.
Right, yeah.
In fact, half the cast of the early Arrowverse is from Spartacus. The other half is from 24. No, wait, from Prison Break.
Right, yeah. Right, so good. And Ron Perlman just has that military presence, I feel like.
He does. He was cast as Lord Hood in Halo 2 and Halo 3. And he did a phenomenal job as Lord Hood, so I can see him in that military role.
Yeah. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my cast, really.
Both are very solid castings.
Mhm.
I think my who does Margot Robbie play in yours again?
She plays Captain Jill Dobbin. So just
What's her
kind of like a supporting character.
what's her personality type?
So honestly, I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
What about who's your villain?
My villain was Leonardo DiCaprio.
I think that suits him. I think he needs to be in some more villainous roles.
Right. I feel like he can definitely pull off that sinister vibe he has.
Yeah, I would agree.
In Django Unchained, seeing him play a pure evil character for once
Right.
was such a different experience, such a great experience.
Right.
He needs to play more villains.
How is my casting for Captain Keyes with Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew McConaughey is always awesome in any role.
He is, and it kind of fits him too. If you dig into a little bit of Captain Keyes's background, I had two choices in mind. One of them would have been Christian Bale, but I think it fits more Matthew McConaughey in this role. Um, Sergeant John said you could do Eddie Murphy or you can do Will Smith. Will Smith brings a little bit more physicality to the role than Eddie Murphy does. And for a Marine, you need to have a little bit more physicality. So that's why I went with Will Smith.
Now, I didn't come up with a fan film per se, but well, a hypothetical film per se, but I did think of a hypothetical animated adaptation of Batman No Man's Land, a two-part one, similar to how they did The Dark Knight Returns and The Long Halloween. Now, the first part would be, let's say, the it starts with a very loose adaptation of Cataclysm and The Road to No Man's Land, and then they do like the first half of the story. Things might get a little bit different. I was thinking the League of Assassins would be involved in the lead up to the earthquake. And then the second part would be about introducing Cassandra Cain and showing Batman return to the devastated area and slowly trying to reopen the city to the public. Well, I mean to the mainland because the people of Gotham were still stuck in the area. So I tr tried to do as close an adaptation as I can within the parameters of only having two movies to do it. And the cast list, well, for Batman, originally I wanted Kevin Conroy, but I was thinking probably Bruce Greenwood, who voiced him in Under the Red Hood and Young Justice. For for the Joker, I'd say Troy Baker. He does a good enough job of imitating Mark Hamill because Mark doesn't really want to do it again. Um, for Barbara Gordon, probably try to get Tara Strong to reprise her role. For Jim Gordon, well, Walter White himself, of course. He already did the voice. He already did the voice in Batman Year One. You am I muted?
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah. Those yeah. Bryan Cranston, he did such a great job in Batman Year One. I think I'd love to hear him reprise the role.
I think those are solid picks.
For David Kane, I actually thought about Daniel Day Kim, but I'm not sure, not really sure who would really suit him. For the Penguin, Nolan North again, because after the Arkham series, that's the only voice I can hear when I read his lines. For Huntress, I mean, I think I'd like to see Jessica De Grove. Is that how you pronounce her name? From Arrow. I'd like to see her come back. That's about it that I can. Oh, and as Ra's al Ghul, T.J. Ramini, he was in Uncharted 3, played Salim in Uncharted 3. I think he'd be a good pick.
Solid.
Yeah, those are all really good picks. I personally am really behind on DC animated movies. There's quite a few I haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
But just by that voice acting alone, like I would definitely want to see that.
yeah. They've actually done. They've started using more and more famous voice. Well, I say famous. I mean more and more celebrity cameos in animated DC films. More, well, I mean, more or less the standard voice actors and more should I say varied casts. I mean, we had ugh, and suddenly my memory is going. But yeah, they got like Cameron Monaghan as Superboy in the Reign of the Superman movie, and they got the guy who plays Black Lightning. He played Steel in that movie, and yeah, and they got Tony Todd as Darkseid in that movie and in Apocalypse War.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my idea.
And to kind of go off of that, like I've seen Nathan Fillion cast as Green Lantern for the DC animated universe.
Yeah, he's been doing
Uh,
that. Sorry,
and
uh,
he's been doing that for years.
yeah, since 2011, and he did Steve Trevor in the 2009 Wonder Woman movie.
There was, I can't remember who was playing Superman and Justice League Apocalypse War.
Uh, he's the guy who's been voicing him in most of the DC AMU movies, the ones that started with Flashpoint and ended with Apocalypse War.
Was that was it Justin Hartley? Was he the one who did that? I remember. I
No,
thought.
Justin Hartley did the Injustice movie.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
Let's see.
It was Jerry O'Connell who played Superman in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Yeah, and Rosario Dawson voiced Wonder Woman in most of those movies.
Oh, I didn't know
And
Uh,
Leah McIntyre, who plays Spartacus in the Spartacus show and Weather Wizard in The Flash, he voiced Captain Boomerang.
that. It's fitting, actually.
Yeah.
um, the one that I think that was really, really good for Trigon and King Shark was John DiMaggio for Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Yeah. I still wish they'd gotten John Bernthal back. He voiced Tricon in Justice League vs. Teen Titans.
Um, here's another really kind of big name casting for Cyborg. It is Shamir Moore. He's famous for Criminal Minds and CBS's SWAT.
But do you know who voiced Cyborg in the Flashpoint Paradox? Michael B. Jordan.
No,
Yeah,
no.
that is a good casting for Cyborg
Yeah.
as well. Here's a Harley Quinn was Hynden Walsh was cast for Harley Quinn in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Yeah, she also did the voice in Assault on Arkham, the Arkhamverse movie, and oh yeah, and she did it in Batman Hush.
Just a heads up, we have about 2 minutes left on the video here before time's out.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, you know, all of our castings are pretty solid picks. So I think if we want to close it, I think Matt should be the one to do that.
Yeah, so that concludes our draft picks. We're gonna come out with another video maybe today if we do the tier list for the MCU movies. We're gonna rank them into different tiers, usually S to D, I think it was. And on Sunday we'll come out with another video, possibly fan casting our fan made Batman movie. So that'll be interesting. And so yeah, signing off from the Polis is Matt, McKay, and Chris. And, talk to you guys later.